This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loves so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football and brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay. And we're underway in the John Madden Legacy Game. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as a coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
And he gets so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent pressure, and the AFC gets to him. So on fourth down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep, two-time Pro Bowler Dante Hall. They'll score that a 36-yard punt, and it'll be a short field ahead as the AFC takes over 1st and 10. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in the conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
That's a real nice job right there, working the middle of the field, working against those safeties. And you know, partner, if you get your hips turned the wrong way, big plays can result.
And a big play into the red zone. It's Brady. And this is going to be intercepted.
I was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business.
On knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp. Actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL.
With quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with Hancock. And then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach. The guy could throw it around in this one.
Wishnowsky on to punt as he sends this one away. They juked him. Yeah, he will go out right near the 35-yard line. The AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Coach coached a guy like him in Jordan Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL.
Brady going to throw. Oh, that's into a double team, and it's
reading something out there, and they're holding the upper hand.
Dancing to his, no, bottled up, fumble. It's out, it's loose. And that's picked up by the AFC.
And Dave Casper, he could shred defenses down the middle of the field. And that's exactly what Tony Gonzalez did in his, because he could make plays short, medium, and long, and often put the ball in the end zone.
Bettis fighting, but he won't get to
two, maybe even three more plays.
Bettis again. Jerome Bettis taking it in. And he's got it to make it. Fields this way up at the 17. Evans has struggled, haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards, so make sure you stick around for that. Again, coming up at halftime. Throw left side. Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired the Raiders in the NFL we're about to go on.
Now left side on the swing pass. And he's going to be taken down. 10 seasons as a head coach. The Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times.
When you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root. As did the expression,
pretty long field ahead of them. I'm curious to see how they play this. But you would think definitely enough time to at least try.
In single digits, and either snap it or get a timeout called if you have one.
And they'll indeed
now keep it to a long kick if indeed they end up trying one.
This is caught. It's Brown. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds.
Tackled him and snatched the towel back before he went over to the sidelines on Notre Dame's side.
That's fantastic. And Vinatieri's kick is good.
You can keep this up.
So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away. Taking it about the 1. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing: football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world. The left goes to the right goes to the left.
On the field. He wants to know if it's real. John Madden comes on the shoulders of his players.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
Steps away to his left. Under pressure again, and down he...
Game thus far.
And this is...
I don't understand what he's upset about. I think it was the correct call.
Trying to find Cup, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Stephon Gilmore. And he is going to score. It's a pick 6 and an AFC touchdown. Well, that's what you get, apparently, when you try to take on one after. It's up and good, and that makes it 7. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. This taken in at the goal line. And he will be brought. After the pick 6, they go right back to the air. Over the middle, that's hauled in by Cup. And he'll be corralled. First down now, but that clock rolling. And that is it. Time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's
as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no, be as realistic as possible. He told them, call me when it's 11-on-11.
Commentator for the series for many years, and now here we are in the 2020s. It's 10 to throw is far, and that is. They're going on 4th down. It's Favre. That'll be caught. It's Cup. And all inside the red zone here. They'll look to throw. And it's intercepted at the goal line. And he'll go down inside the 15 at his own 13-yard line. And that one, Charles, is just going to about wrap up what was no doubt a dominating defensive performance. Victory very much inside. Now a carry for Allen. And he'll take this for a short gain on what will prove to be. So it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message, and for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.